Retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon, who was actually the first full-time diver in FBI history and helped establish the Bureau's underwater forensic program. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Sure, Alex. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we know investigators in the Dominican Republic initially believed Sudiksha had drowned, but have since said that this could extend beyond an accidental event. From what you know so far, does this look like a drowning to you?
You know, it's really a close call for me right now. I mean, it could happen because in that same resort in January, we did have 4 tourists kind of knocked over by a wave. I believe 2 may have perished and two survived, but the 2 bodies were recovered quickly. The thing that makes me think it may not be a drowning is the body probably would have been recovered by now,
right,
if she had drowned in that immediate area. She would have drowned very close to the shore, and the body would not, I would think, drifted that far by the time the authorities got onto it. I'm not an expert in the currents and the tides there, but I would think that the body would have been found by now.
Yeah, we do know that there were multiple drownings earlier this year, and I was wondering if that was the case, if bodies would very, very quickly resurface on the shore. Let's talk a little bit about this man who was last seen with Sudiksha. We do know that he's not being considered a suspect or a person of interest. He has been cooperating with investigators, but we also know he declined to answer 8 of the questions about the case due to his advice that he was receiving from his lawyers. Some of those questions include informing authorities and telling his friends about the incident, as well as any gestures or cries Sudiksha might have made when she was in the water. You're a former FBI agent. What stands out to you about this information?
2 things about this most recent kind of interaction with the local authorities when he kind of lawyered up, as we say, when he refused to answer questions on advice of his counsel, is number one, some of those questions that he refused to answer, he had already answered before in other interviews, and it's amazing that, or it's kind of curious to me why he refused to answer at this point, and now he previously answered, now he's refusing to answer. The second point is that they asked him about statements to his friends, that whether he made statements to his friends. That leads me to believe that they've talked to those friends and they might have gotten conflicting stories from those friends, conflicting with what he told authorities in previous interviews of his. So now they're going back and saying, well, did you ever talk to friends? So I'm thinking that they've spoken to those friends and he may have said something to those friends that's different than he told the authorities. And so now they're going back to him and saying, did you talk to this person? And because they've already talked to that person and they've gotten what that person says he told them. So it's kind of an interesting question to me to ask. You wouldn't really ask that question unless you've already spoken to those people and you know what they say that he told them, because he may have told his friends one story, and he may have told authorities a different story.
Hey, Bobby, is that the reason why we're also seeing the latest reporting about his passport being confiscated? Is that just an effort to try to keep him where he is at the moment while this investigation continues?
Sure. You know, now that he has a lawyer, it's going to be harder to talk to him. And they know that if he gets back to the States, they may never have a chance to talk to him again. So, you know, due to his conflicting stories, it's kind of changed over time. It wasn't really significant in the beginning, but now by the time you're where he is now with his statement, where he was in the beginning, it's kind of significantly different. It kind of changed incrementally over several different interview sessions. And so that's why they really are interested in him, because the truth kind of never changes. Untruth may change. And so he's changed it a little bit to this point. Significantly enough in their minds that they want to keep him there as they gather more intelligence in the case, or more evidence in the case, if you will, from interviews with other people, from things that they might find, you know, on that beach.
Hey, Bobby, what kind of interference happens when you have local law enforcement authorities, meaning the police in the Dominican Republic, as well as these swarming United States authorities like the FBI coming in? Is there any push and pull or infighting that might be happening that's actually delaying or slowing down the process of finding this college student?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, we don't really kind of swarm. We already have a presence in the Caribbean. We have agents stationed in the Caribbean, certain Caribbean nations full time, all the time. So we're a presence there, not in the Dominican Republic per se, but we do have people there on the ground all the time, and we just offer assistance. So we actually speed things up. If you need a dive team, our FBI dive team comes in. If you need investigators, if you need forensic people, if you need profilers or polygraphers, we make that all available. What happens is the people back in Virginia, the law enforcement in Virginia who don't have a case, who send detectives there and they have no standing to do any investigation, that kind of bogs things down and slows things down. I wish the Loudoun County Sheriff kind of would take more of a back seat in this thing because they really have no standing. No crime has been committed in Virginia.
Right.
So that may slow things down. But the FBI, when we come in, we offer any resource available and we just stand back and say, whatever you need, we're here to give it to you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.